Hi, good to see you again. So in this video, I'm going to give you a weight loss tip that is so obvious that you're going to go, duh. So what is this tip? It's copy a traditional diet. A what? A traditional diet. Look, Dr. Weston A Price, he was one of the earliest researchers to study traditional diets. He was the Cleveland dentist in the early 30s. He traveled the world and he studied these isolated groups of people living on a traditional diet. And he compared their health to those of people living on what he called the foods of commerce, which is like our supermarket foods. So he studied people in sequestered villages in Switzerland, Gaelic communities and the Outer Hebrides, Eskimos, and Indians of North America. There was Melanesian and Polynesian South Sea Islanders, African tribes, Australian Aborigines and New Zealand Maoris and the Indians of South America. And what he found was really compelling. Those people living on a traditional diet had less than 1% tooth decay. They didn't suffer from degenerative diseases like cancer or heart disease. The women had no difficulty in childbirth. And members of the group were not only well proportioned, but they shared similar physical and facial features to that of their brothers and sisters. And they looked like their cousins, and they looked like their parents. I mean, sadly today, many children don't even look like their parents, let alone their siblings. Anyway, if you want to lose weight, improve your health, and bring up strong, healthy children, then one of the best pieces of advice I can give you is to copy the diet of a traditional group. But which group do you copy? Well, the easiest thing to do is just look around at people who are well proportioned and just ask them what they ate as a child and what their parents ate. Now, one occasion I was talking to a young Australian man. He was really well built. So I asked this guy, I said, what do you eat as a child? And he said he was brought up on a farm, out in the bush, Australian bush. And when the cholesterol scare was on, in full swing, his mother got his dad to go have a cholesterol check. And guess what? The results were absolutely normal. So what did this boy's father eat? Sausages and eggs for breakfast. A few veggies, and no fruit at all. In addition, he smoked cigarettes and he drank alcohol. And this young man told me that all the men and women out in the bush, the Australian bush, were all well proportioned like him. Yet when he came to the city, came to the Gold Coast, he found that most of the young men and women were fat, in his words. Now, on the Gold Coast here in Australia, I see a lot of Asian men and women. Most of the first generation Asians are very well proportioned, especially the Malaysians, the Japanese and the Filipinos. The Thai generally are pretty good too. The Chinese have a varied diet. Some didn't get enough to eat and are a bit skinny, and some are fat. So the Chinese diet is not a really good one to follow. Some Koreans have great bodies, but then some have buckled teeth. So their diet's not so reliable either. But as I said, the Malaysians, Japanese and Filipinos all look pretty good to me. Now, typically you'll see an Asian mother who is well proportioned, but her daughter, who was brought up on an Australian diet, is twice her size and fat. So what does this tell you? That the diet is responsible for the shape of the body, not the genetics. So if you want to lose weight, if you want your children to grow up with a strong, healthy body, would you eat what the Asian mother ate as a child, or the Western diet she's now feeding to her children? Now, some years ago, I read a letter in the Weston A Price Foundation newsletter. It was written by an American woman who traveled to China for a working holiday. She was really fat, and she took heaps of chocolate bars with her as gifts to her Chinese friends. Did they welcome the chocolate? No. They graciously and politely refused the chocolate bars. They said, they found it to be sickly sweet. And the American woman, she was there for 3 months, and she did her best to convert the well-proportioned Chinese to the American diet, but they steadfastly refused. And slowly the American woman came to realize that she had it back to front and that the SAD diet, that is the standard American diet, was wrong. And it could only result in poor health and obesity. And as she slowly shifted her diet to more traditional foods, she lost weight and her health improved. Now, I make it a habit to ask people what they ate as a child. When I ask a Japanese person what they ate, typically they tell me they ate organ meat. I go, what? Organ meat. I met a man who came from the island of Okinawa. Now, they wrote a book about that island and they claimed they all ate heaps of soy. Well, they do eat some soy, but they usually have fatty pork with it, and broth and that sort of stuff. So if you want to find out what any traditional group really ate, just go to Google. Type in the name of the people followed by organ meat. For example, Mediterranean diet, organ meat. Japanese, organ meat. Okinawa, organ meat. And what's missing from the standard Western diet? Organ meat. So what does that tell you? Anyway, one day I asked a well-proportioned Brazilian woman what she ate as a child. She was about 20 years old. And she was working behind the counter in a health food shop. She looked slightly embarrassed and replied, "Funny meat." I said, "What's funny meat?" She looked around to make sure that, none of the politically correct food expert naturopaths were in earshot, and she said, "Organ meat, like liver and kidney." But don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Google's there for everyone to use. Now, look at me. Am I fat? I don't think so. But then it could be genetic. Well, one of my brothers weighs 107 kilos. The other brother is much the same build than me. He's a little bit stockier and stronger than me. So what does the fat brother eat? He eats wheat bix and sugar for breakfast, takeaway food, chocolate bars, Coca-Cola, heaps of bread. All right, you get the idea? I don't eat any of those foods. What do I eat? Do I eat an Asian diet? No. I go for a diet which matches my English background and genetics. So breakfast is usually 100 grams of raw beef liver. It's blended into a pate with tahini, pepita paste, avocado, chia seed, garlic, kelp powder, turmeric, coriander, and ginger. And then I have grated carrot, grated beetroot, some greens, onion. Oh, okay, and there's garlic in the pate. And I'll round it off with brown rice. Now, other times I'll have rare roast beef with the salad. For lunch, I have pickled herrings, or roll mops as they're called, with salad and a piece of sourdough bread. No butter or margarine. And dinner's either wild fish like mullet, braised lamb shanks, which I cook up all day, so it's like a bone broth too, or curried beef mince, which I have with chicken broth. And the vegetables are usually sweet potatoes, onions, garlic, cabbage, and broccoli. Occasionally I'll have some beans. So my diet's really simple. And I'm skinny. Do I experience food cravings? No. Do I eat any sugary foods like chocolate, candy bars, soft drinks, alcohol? No. Why not? Well, apart from the fact that they're really bad for your health, I've got no desire to eat or drink them. Why? Because I get all my nutrition I need from my nutrient-dense diet, which fulfills me. And it can fulfill you too. Now, there's an article on my website which explores the myths and facts around the Mediterranean diet. And it'll give you some insights into what the long-lived people actually ate. It might surprise you. Hopefully it surprises you all the way to good health. And there are some free coaching materials on my website. Details are in the description below. So that's our weight loss tip for today. And to get my other weight loss tips, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Please like the video and share it on Facebook and your favorite social networking sites. I'd really appreciate it if you could do that for me. And please let me know how you progress with your weight goals, I'm really interested to know how you go. And if you want to make friends with me on Facebook, just search for Abby Eagle Australia. I also have a business page which you might like to follow, and talk to you soon.